Ladies and gentlemen, it's profile time. And I'm particularly excited about this profile.
I can confirm that.
Because this is... we're putting in a team. And this is one of my favourite teams in footballing history. It is the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, the 1990 World Cup side.
Superb.
Yeah, they are.
One of my favourites as well, I don't mind saying.
Absolutely fantastic. And sported one of my favourite kits of all time.
Yeah, the massive golden line on the breast.
Yeah.
Green shirt with white trim, red shorts, yellow socks.
Much like a flag.
Green socks, yellow socks?
Yellow socks.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
because the flag, that's the colours of the flag, absolutely. Well, where do we begin? Well, the 1990 World Cup side, that's what they were. They qualified for the 1990 World Cup, and they surpassed Nigeria, and they beat Tunisia in the final playoff round. Now, we can't stress enough that the African sides were a complete unknown quantity at World Cup.
They only got two teams, didn't they, rather than five?
They only got two teams at this point. I mean, only a few years previous, you had... Was it Zaire, who didn't know how to defend free kicks?
Yeah.
In a
the
World
rules
Cup.
even, yeah.
Exactly. The whistle blew and the guy ran out and just booted it away. You know, this is...
Can he have a profile at some point?
Well, I think they will. But, you know... this was, 1990. You know, it's not that long ago, but you know, we see.
It's 19 years ago, Marcus.
I know, but we
23 years after the summer off.
Thank you. At the moment, you know, some of the best players in the world are from Africa, but nobody knew any of these African players. And as I say, I can't stress enough, they were a complete unknown quantity.
We didn't have the research tools we got now. The internet wasn't there.
Well, there's all that.
And also, the World Cup was a smaller proposition there as well. There wasn't 32 teams in it then, was there?
That's right. I mean, we had a tiny bit from them. In the 1982 World Cup, they did qualify, and they played 3 matches, and they drew all 3 they drew against the Italians, I think, who won that competition. So a very credible draw there. But again, 8 years passed, and they went out in the first round in that tournament. So again, nobody knew anything about them. So in the first round, in the first match of the whole tournament, you have Argentina, who are...
In 1990.
In 1990, the Argentina, who are the world champions, have boast players like Caniggia and Maradona.
They opened the tournament, didn't they?
They opened the tournament against Cameroon. So people are thinking, well, Maradona and co against this team, we don't know. Cameroon have 2 men sent off and beat Argentina 1-0.
Francis Omanbiek scored a great header. Well, what he did was he used the Argentinian defender's leg as like a leg up.
Yeah.
The ref didn't see it. He headed it in. The keeper fumbled it in the bottom corner,
and then they were away.
And it's party time.
and it really was party time. We'll put some images up of them celebrating.
Oh, they had a superb time.
It is incredible. But they scored when they were down to 10 men. Cano was sent off on 61. Omanbiek scored on 67, and then Benjamin Massing, the big defender,
he was no stranger to a big challenge.
One of the most
found out.
One of the most outrageous fouls you'll see. He took out Caniggia on 89. Then in the next match, they played Romania, and they beat Romania 2-1. And people, they qualified.
Yeah, Romania also qualified, didn't they, from that group?
Romania did, because Ireland put them out on penalties. So suddenly they've qualified. And people are thinking, flipping heck. So they got through the group stages, but if we talk about the actual squad themselves, we mentioned sort of the big player Massing at the back from Francois Omanbiek. He played at the 90 World Cup and went on to play at the 94 and 98 World Cup. I remember Jean-Claude Pagal, who had particularly good hair. A couple of them had great hair. But one area they were particularly strong in, Cameroon, and it can't be underestimated, was in goal. Now, the goalkeeper was Thomas Nkono, who's considered by many as the greatest African keeper ever. And here's something for you. Gianluigi Buffon called his son Thomas in honour of Thomas Nkono.
Absolutely superb. That's a big honour.
Yeah.
Big honour.
So yeah, Thomas Nkono, he played, I think he played in Spain. He did play in Spain, Nkono. Unfortunately, though, I mean, I've got to say this just for bants. He was arrested by riot police once using black magic prior to an African Cup of Nations semi-final with Mali. And he was dragged onto the running track after stepping onto the pitch, and there was an object found in his pocket which was a black magic charm to try and help the Cameroon cause.
Oh, really?
So any means necessary. But
they also
stick some swords about it. You know, it won't be effective.
They also had Jack Songo, didn't they, on the bench?
They did have Jack Songo, yes. He was. I mean, he's considered one of the great African goalkeepers as well, as was Joseph Antoine Bell. He played over 100 matches for Marseille, but Songo, he featured for Cameroon in every World Cup from 1990 to 2002. Which is incredible, and he was only their first choice at the '98 World Cup, and he also played. I mean, just to prove that he was a decent keeper, he played over 150 games for Deportivo La Coruña and was a part of their 99 to 2000 La Liga winning side. So real pedigree in goal there.
Yeah, no doubt.
And a number of these players were to go on to play for some European clubs, but without a shadow of a doubt, their main man, their talisman, was Roger Milla.
Oh, he was. There was no better sight. No better sight than him in full flow, I tell you. He robbed Higuita in the second round of beauty.
Well, one of my favourite players of all time, Roger Milla. Barry Davies always used to call him Roger Milla.
Yeah.
So, which I always kind of went with.
He would not learn.
If he was Spanish, that's what he'd be called, definitely.
That's right. Well, the funny thing is, Roger Milla had already achieved a lot with Cameroon. They made history when they qualified for the World Cup in Spain in '82. As it was their first time on the world stage. And they returned unbeaten, of course, from that World Cup. But after winning the African Cup of Nations for a second time in 1988, Roger Milla actually announced his retirement from the international stage. And he had a couple of testimonials in Cameroon, which was attended by almost 100,000 spectators. And he moved to Reunion Island, which is in the Indian Ocean, to live out what he thought would be peaceful semi-retirement.
Oh, yeah.
With the Italia 90, the finals were looming, and the national squad was there was a lot of conflict going on there. The Cameroonian press began sort of saying, "Get him out, get him back," you know. And there he is in this island in the Indian Ocean. I wouldn't have thought a hotbed of football. No. Just living out peaceful semi-retirement, as we said earlier.
I'll tell you who's from there, Laurent Robert.
He's
from there, yeah. He's the only footballer I think that's been from there.